Oudere beleggers die zullen nog wel een belletje horen rinkelen wanneer ik spreek over Oncomethyloom Sciences. Nieuwere beleggers die gaan het natuurlijk hebben bij het horen van het woord MDxHealth. En dat is ook de reden waarom we vandaag een video hebben opgenomen met CEO Michael McGarrity, die aan de tand gevoeld wordt door onze KBC Securities analist. Maar voor het zover is, geef ik nog mee dat het eigenlijk al een oud bedrijf betreft dat al jarenlang actief is in die diagnostica-sector, op zoek dus naar het voorspellen, het zeer vroeg detecteren van kankers allerhande. Maar dit proces, dat onderzoek, dat heeft zeer veel geld gevraagd tot nu toe en heeft al lang geduurd en heeft niet geresulteerd in succes op de beurs. Waar de koers ooit nog 13 euro was, schiet daar vandaag maar 0,23 euro van over. En dat is meteen ook de verklaring waarom het bedrijf waarschijnlijk ook wel naar die Verenigde Staten wil trekken, weg van Brussel, omdat het nu eenmaal misschien meer aligneert met klanten, met beleggers en wie weet ook met financiële partijen die zo nodig extra kapitaal zouden moeten kunnen voorzien. We horen het allemaal van de CEO.
Good morning, Mike. It's a pleasure to have you at our KBC Oncology Day. Just wanted to ask you, can you provide us with a brief introduction to yourself and to the company, maybe?
Sure, Thomas. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And MDxHealth, the company was formed in Belgium, so we're a Belgium-based entity. We have R&D operation in the Netherlands, and our U.S. operations are in Irvine, California. The majority of our operation today is in the U.S. from a revenue customer perspective, but our expertise began here with biomarker development, and we still capitalize on the talent and the team we have here in Nijmegen in the Netherlands. I joined MDxHealth in 2019, and what I saw here at the company was really good demonstration evidence of the technology as applied in prostate cancer. We have a world-class laboratory in Irvine, California, and really good experience and talent in the payer coverage area, which is critical to our business. What was required was a real restructuring from the perspective of operating discipline and commercial execution. And I think over the last 4 years, we've made significant progress in that area, and we believe we have the basis to be a sustainable growth company.
All right. You mentioned biomarkers in your introduction. So MDxHealth is working on the development and commercialization of those biomarkers. Could you maybe explain what they are and how they are used for patients?
So we have a menu of tests for prostate cancer. We have 3 tests as applied in prostate cancer. Our SELECT test is a urine-based biomarker test for risk stratification after elevated PSA prior to initial biopsy. Our CONFIRM test is a tissue-based test. After negative biopsy, we receive a sample of each of the cores of the biopsy into our lab, and we run our proprietary methylation technology on those cores, and we're able to determine with a 96% negative predictive value that there is no cancer. In August of 2022, we acquired the genomic prostate score, the GPS test, Oncotype, from Exact Sciences, and that really rounded out our menu such that we now have a clinically actionable diagnostic test at each point in the diagnostic pathway of prostate cancer. And we feel we're really the only company that can offer more than one answer. And we believe our customers, we've seen the adoption where they're adopting our entire menu as part of their diagnostic pathway of taking patients through the often confounding diagnostic workup for prostate cancer.
All right, thank you. And you also mentioned that you're mostly geared towards the US markets. How do you look at the commercial trajectory there? What are the key criteria and how do you see the way forward?
So when I joined in 2019, and actually at the beginning of 2022, we only had one test generating revenue. So just to explain our business model, we run what's called a CLIA lab diagnostic laboratory in the US. So unlike a medical device or an IVD diagnostics where we ship a test or a device to the customer, our sales team drives adoption of our tests, and then we receive a sample from the clinician, we run the test, we report the result out, and then we're responsible for working with the payers in the US, Medicare and commercial and private payers, to be reimbursed for those tests. Our sales channel, to your question, we have a direct sales team in the US. So we have sales reps that call on the urology customers, and then we have a managed care team that supports the reimbursement. working with the payers, which is critical for coverage in our business. When I joined, we have 70 people in the field sales organization in the US right now. That was about less than half that when I joined. And interestingly, of those 70 people today, only 5 of them were here in 2019. So we really restructured our sales team. From my experience, my background is 13 years with Stryker, which kind of informs the view of commercial execution. And then I ran a diagnostics company in the US that was acquired by Luminix. So we have a basis, John Bolano, our Chief Commercial Officer, and myself, on what a really great sales team looks like, and we think we've put that together. So we now have over 50 direct sales reps in the US and managers supporting them and medical science liaisons, and that's our field team of 70 that covers. And we think one of the most valuable assets we have at MDxHealth is our sales channel. We think it's best in class, and that is the basis for our view that we can continue to drive sustainable growth. We now have a menu of 4 tests generating revenue, all focused into urology, and that's the real value of our distribution.
All right, very clear. And if you look at the financial prospects of the company, what are your thoughts about evolving into a mature medtech company with the profitability point and potential timelines towards that?
Yeah, so we think our growth, we navigated through the pandemic, which was very difficult for our business. Prostate cancer screenings were estimated to be down 50% during the pandemic. So we navigated through that. We kept our sales team in place. We thought that was important to continue to drive our customer base. This year in 2023, we've guided to $65 to $70 million in revenue, which is significant growth. I think in 2019, when I joined, we reported $11 million in revenue. So we're really proud of our focus and execution in building out the team. We expect that growth rate to continue. We believe we have clear visibility to $100 million in revenue and a 65 to 70% gross margin, which has been, again, significant progress from the 30s and 40% gross margin we were carrying before. We think we can hold our operating expenses relatively straight away. All those factors give us confidence, which I communicated recently with you and all of our analysts in the market, that we believe we'll turn profitable in the first half of 2025. So we're a number of quarters away, and we have clear visibility to that type of growth. And really, we think that revenue, profitability, gross margin, and being able to hold our OpEx really puts us in an uncommon position in the diagnostic sector. We believe there's currently a disconnect between the current value in the market and what our company is building, but we're confident that reconnects here over time as we focus on investor relations, work with you and the team here at KBC in Europe, and then as well with our supporting analysts in the US.
Okay. And MDxHealth also recently announced or proposed a transition from a Euronext Nasdaq dual listing to solely Nasdaq. How should investors look at that and think about that?
So the company has been trading on the Belgium Euronext exchange since before I joined. In 2021, we listed on Nasdaq as well. And really the focus and the impetus for that and the catalyst for that was bringing in more U.S. investors, high-quality institutional investors that are active in our sector. We maintain our European investor base that we value very much. So this isn't about U.S. versus Europe. It's about consolidating our trading on one exchange, being the U.S. Nasdaq, which we think provides for a more efficient trading dynamic. And likely there are investors that have mandates where they can't invest in dual-listed companies. They can't invest in a Euronext company. They can't invest in ADS, which was the structure that we listed in the US. We believe that this initiative solves for all those aspects and just provides a more clean, a cleaner and more efficient trading environment for all of our shareholders, both US and European.
Okay. And finally, why should people invest in your company today?
Well, we think we're at a very unique spot in our history of the company and in our growth trajectory. So the points I made that we believe that all of our fundamentals are in place from an operating perspective. I commented on what I saw when I arrived, and where we are today are very, very different. And we have 4 tests, all covered by Medicare in the U.S. and broad commercial coverage. And that is a significant, I don't want to say achievement, but progress by the company that puts us in a very, very strong position to generate that sustainable growth that we believe we can and to return value for shareholders. So we're committed. We have the right team in place, and we think our customer base is strong enough now to generate that sustainable growth.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.